Hey guys, welcome to Mad Scientist BBQ. I'm Jeremy Yoder, and today we're doing something really special. We're going to do the ultimate tomahawk throwdown. We have a Wagyu tomahawk versus a Creekstone Prime dry-aged tomahawk, and we're going to be cooking them on the Weber SmokeFire pellet grill. So we have kind of a little bit of everything here. New grill, awesome steaks, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Now, before we jump into cooking all this delicious meat, I want to thank Trade Coffee for sponsoring this video. For me, for a long time, I was afraid to get into high-quality coffee because, you know, with all the barbecue that I do, I've realized that substandard barbecue is just not satisfying to me anymore. Basically, unless the barbecue is great, I don't like it. And I was afraid the same thing would happen with coffee, then great coffee would be hard to find, and it would kind of ruin the joy of drinking coffee for me. But with Trade, what they do is they send coffee to your door so you have constant supply of delicious coffee so you don't have to search around for it. The way it works is you go to their website, you take the quiz, and they set you up with coffees that match your taste preferences. They'll ship you the coffee, so when it comes to your door, you can make it, you try it out, you get to rate it, and if you like it, you can order it again. If you want to try something new, they have a huge array of options to choose from because they work with the nation's top roasters. And so after you take the quiz and you rate coffees, you can start to narrow down exactly the kind of coffee that's perfect for you, and it'll get delivered to your door on a regular basis. It is the smartest way to drink great coffee. And the first 100 people who click on the link below in the description will get the first bag of coffee 30% off and free shipping. The dry aged is Creekstone Prime, so top-notch stuff. Then we have West Home Wagyu, so it's a Wagyu hybrid, so it's going to have excellent marbling. So we're really dealing with top-notch stuff here. I mean, this is kind of the best quality stuff that you can get. And we're going to be trying it on the Weber SmokeFire pellet grill. And how do we do that? Because we are at the Barbecue HQ, and they're kind enough to let us use this thing and give it a shot. At the Barbecue HQ, they have a ton of different kinds of smokers, but today we're using this thing because it's hard to find, but they have it here. And this is Arvin. He's the store manager here at the Barbecue HQ, so he's going to show us how you actually light this thing up and get it ready to cook.
All right, so this is the new Weber SmokeFire pellet grill. This is the EX6 model. We're going to take this thing up to 600 degrees, but first we're going to start out doing low and slow around 225. And then once we hit the mark of around 125, we're going to crank it up to 600 degrees and sear those tomahawks. So the easiest way to start this thing up is just by powering it on, and it'll do its thing. Once it goes through its startup, you just click the button, the gauge here, and then set it to what temperature that you want. So we're going to turn it to 225, and then you just press the little dial again, and now it has initiated startup. So we're going to give it a little time to get caught up to 225 and then throw our steaks on.
So let's talk about the steaks in this throwdown. First, Creekstone Prime dry-aged tomahawk. So this is like a ribeye, but with a long bone attached. And so the reason why it's dry-aged is because we're trying to maximize the flavor. So you lose a lot of water, so you concentrate the flavor, and then there's additional flavor from the enzymes and the microbes that are kind of working on the meat. So ideally it should be very full flavored. It should have like a really concentrated beef flavor along with additional flavors from that kind of slow aging process. So this is a unique kind of steak and something that people pay top dollar for. Another kind of steak people pay top dollar for is Wagyu. So this West Home Wagyu hybrid is special because of the intense marbling that you have within the meat. And that's something that's very desirable because it means each bite is going to be moist and juicy. And so people pay a lot of money for that too. So we're going to see which one is better, what do people prefer. So the throwdown is going to be an epic match between awesome and great, and we're going to figure out which one is better. But now that we got these things out of the package, you can get a better look at them. If you look at the dry age, you notice it's really dark. That's because it's lost a lot of water, and it's kind of concentrated that beef down, so you get a nice dark color on there, and hopefully tons of flavor. If you look at the Wagyu, you see tons of marbling all throughout the meat, so both of these should be incredible, and we're going to see if people have preference one for another. But we have to talk about how we're going to season these steaks. Now, inside here, there are like a million seasonings, and usually they have samples out there, so you can try everything you ever wanted to try in terms of barbecue seasonings. But Arvin, what are we going to use today and why?
Today we're going to use some duck fat spray for our base layer. You can never go wrong with duck fat.
It's delicious.
It is, and I think it adds a great, it adds a nice sear when you go for the sear.
Right,
Just
right.
adds additional flavor. We're gonna go with the Killer Hogs all-purpose seasoning.
Okay.
That will be our flavoring for all this first base layer.
Sure. Is that like salt, pepper, garlic type of thing?
Yes, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll use that as our first layer, get all that nice flavoring,
Uh-huh.
and then we'll go and finish it off with the barbecue rub. This is pretty much kind of a combination I would use in the steak cook-offs. So
Like steak competitions.
Yeah, your steak competitions.
Got it.
So you got your flavoring, and then this is pretty much just adding a little bit more flavor, and then your color.
Got it. So the combination of those two, we're going to hit all the taste receptors, kind of.
Yes, exactly.
is the
Especially with
idea.
that duck fat, getting that sear, getting those nice sear lines and everything in there.
Yeah, that's great. And because these are nice, thick steaks, we're not going to overpower the flavor of the
No,
meat because
exactly.
we're going to have the crust on the outside and then still plenty of meat flavor. So
Yes.
that sounds awesome. So let's get to seasoning these guys up. The one important thing to keep these things straight after they're done cooking is we've got some string around this dried steak. So we'll be able to tell it apart from the Wagyu so we don't make any mistakes there. But now it's time to season these guys up. Okay, so these are ready to put on, and the SmokeFire is up to 225. We're going to put them on there and let them cook kind of low and slow, indirect, until they come up to 125 degrees, because we're going to do a reverse sear. At 125, we're going to pull them off. We're going to get this thing screaming hot, 600 degrees, and sear the heck out of them on each side. Then we're going to pull them off, let them rest, and cut into them. But first, what kind of pellets are we using in this thing, and why?
Today we're using the Smoke Ring Oak Hickory Cherry Blend. It's kind of the competition blend, or actually the Supreme blend. It's just a good overall blend. You get a little oak, you get a little hickory, you get a little cherry, and it's just great for everything. So I think it'd be a good choice to see which Tomahawk flavor is better, either the dry age or the Wagyu.
Good. So we're going to get good color, good smoke, and hopefully the best quality steak we can.
Oh yes.
Okay. All right. Let's put these guys on.
All right.
All right. Okay, so we pulled these things off. They got to 125 internal, and we are going to get this grill ready to go to sear them. But in the meantime, we're going to let them cool, because we want the steak to cool down all the way around so that nothing gets overcooked, because we want sear on the exterior, perfect pink in the middle. So how are you going to get this thing ready to sear these?
I'm just going to crank it up to 600 and throw some grill grates in there. Once the grill gets up to 600 degrees, we'll get those grill grates nice and screaming hot, and we'll get these nice diamond plate crosses on it.
Perfect, perfect. This thing, super hot. So we just did a laser reading of the grates, and they were 662 degrees. So these things are ready to sear. So let's open this up, and we're going to try to get perfect hash marks on these steaks. So first thing, layer of duck fat. And that is toasty. Okay, here we go. Do I have to move it back? Yeah, that's toasty. Very toasty. That's pretty good. All right, so beautiful sear. We have beautiful marks on this, and now it's time to taste it. What we've been waiting for it seems like an eternity now. So what we're going to do, I think we're going to take off this bone, cut down the middle so you can kind of see the doneness there. So we're going for like something about a medium, and then we're going to eat the spinalis, which is this kind of thick piece on the outside edge where it's going to have the best kind of marbling and flavor. And Arvin has done a lot more steak competitions than I have. So Arvin, if you will do the honors.
All right. Save that for later. I got it around.
Oh, it looks good. Okay, so now we're going to take a bite from the spinalis, which is this portion on the outside, this kind of extra piece of meat. It's got great marbling and it's going to have great crust and flavor. So we're going to be judging them based on that. And then we have in the middle to just kind of see doneness. But Arvin's going to cut us out some pieces here, so we're going to get 2 pieces of each, and we're going to try the dry aged versus the Wagyu. Then maybe,
You can smell the dry age on there.
yeah. So I'm looking at this piece of spinalis from the Wagyu here, and just incredible marbling, full of juice, and you know, nice and pink in the middle, exactly what I would want. Then the dry aged, you know, is still a good amount of pink. It's a little bit more done than the Wagyu, but if I smell it, you can start to smell some of the dry aged. You can get that a little bit of funk,
Yeah,
but it's not off-putting.
No,
not to me
not
at all.
at
It actually smells really good.
It does.
Like appetizing. So I think what we're going to do first is Arvin and I are going to test the Wagyu and then move on to the dry age. And so we're going to talk about each one after we try it. So cheers.
Cheers.
Wagyu. Dude, that's good. The thing I noticed about the Wagyu is like the fat is different.
Yeah.
It's like it's silky and kind of like coats everything in your mouth.
No, it does.
Like you just, you know, ate a pat of butter or something. I don't know. What did you think of it?
I think it's all. I always prefer the Wagyu.
Yeah.
I haven't had a dry age Tomahawk in a long time, so this is gonna be a great taste. But I always notice a little bit with the Wagyu, it has a little bit more sweeter flavor, especially the West Home Australian. It has just a little bit of sweetness to it.
Yeah, it's a different flavor than just regular beef for some reason. I don't know exactly why. It's very rich. You can't eat a whole ton of it.
No.
But just delicious and just marvelous in terms of how much fat there is in the meat. So it's just juicy every single bite.
Oh yeah.
All right, so I'm very impressed with that.
Oh, yeah.
If the dry age, you know, is able to beat that, I will be shocked. But I'm willing to try.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. Dry aged. Smells great. Here we go. Wow. Totally different flavor.
Oh yeah. No. Instantly, for me, I tasted just that more beefier flavor.
Yeah.
Instantly.
Nothing off-putting about that at all.
Not at all.
I mean, it adds something. Like, I've had dry aged that you cannot eat it. It's like rotten meat. I've had stuff that's very, very mild. I think this might strike the perfect balance. I don't know exactly how long this was aged. I think 28 days.
I think so.
But it's like the perfect balance of, oh, you get something extra, like a nuttier type flavor, but it's not something gross and overpowering that's going to drive people away. This, I'm going to eat another bite.
Yeah.
This is good.
I definitely would go for another bite. Both of them, the flavor of the 2 rubs that we mixed together, it's unbelievable.
It complements it really well.
It does.
I think the flavors may be more concentrated in the dry age. It's not even though it's dry age, it's not dry because all that rendered fat in there. I think if I had to, I'd be hard pressed to choose. I think 2 out of 3 steaks I would want dry aged and 1 Wagyu, or maybe the opposite. I just like them both, but they're different.
Yeah, I like both of them as well, but I think it's kind of like what you're feeling.
Yeah.
If you're feeling more, you want that beefy flavor, then I'd go dry age hands down. If you want like just that little bit of hit of sweetness, then I would go the Wagyu.
Yeah, I mean, they're both great. They're just different. If I had to really think about it, which one, if I had a last steak, which one I would choose, I'd probably choose the dry aged, but that might change from day to day. I don't know. They're just great. I mean, this is certainly better than what you're going to find in a grocery store, getting like a choice, whatever. Or there's some grocery stores where they do their own dry aging. Don't do that. These are delicious, and I'm happy to get completely full eating more of this steak. So if you guys are curious about this, both of these are totally worth cooking at home. Spend the money. You're going to be very glad that you did, because it's not going to be a waste. Because you can waste your money on things that are different or fancy and be disappointed in the end. If you get one of these two, you're going to be totally satisfied. Just top quality stuff, and you treat it the right way, a nice reverse sear, get perfect caramelization on the outside, get nice seasonings on there too. It's just a great way to eat steak. Now, if you guys can't find these cuts of meat, you can come to the Barbecue HQ and they can hook you up with both of these. So you can get the Wagyu and the dry aged. You can get Creekstone, you can get everything right here at the Barbecue HQ in Simi Valley. Also, don't forget, the first 100 people who click on the trade link in the description will get 30% off their first bag of coffee with shipping included. So be sure to check it out. It is phenomenal stuff. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, hit the notification bell, subscribe, and like the video, because you can get more updates whenever we release new, good quality videos for you guys. And I want to thank Arvin and the Barbecue HQ for letting us do this here and letting us use this Weber SmokeFire grill. So thank you guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you guys next time.